Yeah.
Good gaming, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Magda, and today we're going to watch some, maybe not noobs, because it was still at the Canadian Nexus 3 in Kingston, so somewhat noobs play cEDH. This is the final game of that tournament. I'm casting it because, you know, I play Magda. So I am at that game. Things may not have went super well, but it is first Magda game in quite a while, so my Discord friend will be happy for that. We'll go into the deck tech. We've got ObNixilis, top right. ObNixilis strategy is pinging for one, either with Orcish or Roiling Vortex, if I remember correctly. Gutshot is also one of them. Every time he pings for exactly one damage, he gets a ObNixilis gets +1/+1, and he exile a card that he can cast until his next end step. Magda is a treasure hoarder. She wants to get to 10 treasure as fast as possible, and when she does, she will tutor into her library for treasure generating cards combos, and after that she will use either burn spell and recursion to kill her opponent. We've got Kinnan the big monster boy, will try to abuse mana rocks and dorks because Kinnan makes them create one more. So he'll try to do that with a creature stacks base so that he can flip them and win the game that way. Najeela is a tempo based, I would say. She's not turbo, but her plan is to attack, create a bunch of warrior token, and when when a creature deals, well, she can pay Wooburg to get an extra combat step, just generating more warrior and more warrior and more warrior. Also, Derevi is one of her outlets. Derevi will allow her to untap some lands and create mana to redo another attack step. So this is the deck that we've got in this finally. Starting up, asking for pre-game action, we've got Najeela getting a Gemstone Cavern. Wow, Sulfur Spring into a Jeweled Lotus for Ob. That is 4 mana. That is a ObNixilis turn 1. Quite good. So whenever someone plays a Mana Confluence, Seed of Brass, or any of these lands, they will get pinged for 1, and it will trigger ObNixilis. So it is a good thing to get him super early. Magda going into a Nurza Saga will exile a Simian Spirit Guide and drops a Magda. So 2 commanders in 2 turns. Let's see if the Kinnan player can keep up. Breeding Pool Shock will Mox Diamond. Pitching a Waterlogged Grave. Kinnan. So 3 commander, 3 turns. Let's see if we can get a Najeela turn 1. Should be hard. Should not be hard because Najeela is 3 CMC. Kind of easy to drop. Crack Bloodstained Mire will go get a Badland. Since he cracked and lost 1 life, ObNixilis triggers and Flare of Duplication gets exiled. So he's gonna go get a Badland. Gets Badland, drops a Mana Vault. Mana Vault and blue. for not Najeela, so it will go for a heuristic study instead of having a blocker, which is something. And he passes the turn. ObNixilis swing out. So ObNixilis starting with one lander. Of course, he's playing Ob. He had Ob first turn. He can play any land from his exile if he exiled it with ObNixilis. So it's not like he doesn't have a draw engine on board. It's a weird draw engine. So Magda dropping one of the new dwarves, the 3/3 mascot. Heuristic study triggers, not paying. It is a changeling. You can pay one colorless to transfer it into a color only once per turn. So they made Nadu, and right after they made that, making it treasure, and I will pass. So there was a lot of politicking. The Kinnan player on my left is a Magda. It's not his main, but it was her main not so long ago. So he knows what kind of shenanigans I can get out. The thing is, he doesn't know all of the shenanigans we can do because he hasn't looked into it thoroughly for the last few sets. Dropping Bloom Tender. Tapping Mana Confluence, which will trigger ObNixilis. Najeela's turn come. Gets ping for one. Wishclaw exiled, which that is not a good idea. Well, it's not idea. It's not his idea. Just luck. Gonna drop a Mox Hopal. 2 artifact. Kinnan player still pointing at my board. Casting Wishclaw. So there's been so much politicking that even the judge is saying that the Kinnan player does not have the right to chat anymore. Wishclaw get activated. I kept telling them, give me a Wishclaw, I'm not going to use it. I'm the only one doing Dockside. Well, wrong, not in this game. But he gives it to the Kinnan player. Hoping the Kinnan player does not try to do anything. End step, Vampiric Tutor. So Kinnan player keeps pointing at my 3/3 on my board. And then I've been pointing back. Bloom Tender makes him 4. Because he has 3 colors plus 1, and he has 2 artifacts. That's 8, 9, 10 mana on his turn. So ObNixilis is gonna play his own Wishclaw. So we are such loudmouths that the Najeela player is losing patience. Wishclaw Talisman gets cast. He'll use the extra from the Mana Crypt to send Wishclaw away. So drops a bad land. I'm presuming he went and got Disciple of the Vault. So whenever an artifact gets sacked, Treasure, Jewel Lotus, deals 1 to target opponent. So Kinnan was keeping pointing at me. I believe that this is one of the answers to me. ObNixilis flying. See, Kinnan player still trying to point at me, trying to divert the threat. Nexus player says, no, no, I'm going your way this time. So I'll float one with Urza's Saga. I'll go fetch a Soul Ring. So if you're a judge or have a judge friend, if you are in main phase 1 and you say, I will attempt to switch phase, and somebody says, I'm gonna do something, are we still in main phase 1 or are we at the beginning of combat? Because I didn't say I'll go to combat and then at beginning of combat you're gonna do something. There was a bunch of chit chat. So technically, if the interpretation is, if I said I go to combat, I will be at the beginning of combat when they do something. But if I say I want to change phase, I'm still in the main phase and I'm trying to change. Now, I'm no judge, maybe wrong, so let me know. The judge that was there on site wasn't sure, so I'd like to know about these shenanigans. Magda player attacks, makes 3 treasure. They are still arguing that if I ever get to 5, they need to get rid of something quick. Deadly Rodic on Kinnan. It is something. So I'm always suggesting that wait for the exact last second before you lose a game to use your interactions. Because if you use it for something, like you saw the Deadly Relic on the Kinnan, let's say ObNixilis killed one of the artifacts, Kinnan would have won. And Najeela will use his interaction for something else. And it's always a question of, is it really a problem, or are you manipulated into, well, not manipulated, but that's all politicated into making something. So this is why at this point, Kinnan drops Matavolt, Ristic triggers. Nobody were paying their taxes. And this is one of the things, giving cards to anyone is a bad idea. So he'll use his Bloom Tender for 2, because he has a green, he has a black. Green, something, gets pinged, ObNixilis triggers, tries to cast Kinnan. 2, 3, 4, yep. And so he's Chain of Vaporing his Matavolt, trading 1 mana for 4 to untap it, especially that he added in stock. Plays a Confluence because he didn't want to get dinged for 1 for the Matavolt, but he will get dinged if he uses Mana Confluence. Well, it is what it is. Replays Matavolt. Opal is back online. One, two, three, four. Tries to get the One Ring. So this is one of the things. You see them hesitate because he went ring, 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 and nobody said anything, and I said, whoa, 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 calm down. I had some interactions in, and I wasn't sure I would want to use it. The time that it took to rethink it, Kinnan player decides to cast Mana Drain, which is not nothing. Kind of surprised because he said I'm not going to do anything. So Wish Claw can be activated at any timing during your turn. Just it has to be on your turn. You don't need to activate it only at sorcery speed. So get dinged for something. Swan Song the mana drain, which is kind of something. Swan Song resolves, mana drain gets countered. One Ring resolves, you will draw a card from it. Drops a Jewel Lotus. Jewel Lotus will cast Najeela. Ooh. So sacking the Lotus will activate the Disciple of the Vault, get pinged. He tries to gamble. One. Samut. Pretty sure Samut is not the thing that he wanted to discard. Not discard. But at least we are getting through. Passes to the ObNixilis. So Kinnan still trying to banter me into, you're the target, you're gonna win. And let's be realistic. Look at the Magda board, look at the Kinnan board. Magda is always a threat for sure. But seriously, ObNixilis dropping a Mox Diamond. My apologies, I opened the window and I've got seasonal allergies. So if you hear me snivel, my apologies. Rosewood Crypt. It'll cast Defense Grid. And at that point I'm like, what do I do? Got nothing. It's an artifact. I cannot counter an artifact. Kinnan has nothing. Najeela has nothing. So we are practically playing at sorcery speed. We'll use the last. We'll pay a 1 for the Wish Claw. Give it to the Najeela player. We'll, of course, go and try to get a Dockside. So Dockside, people are showing numbers, and then I'm like, sure, I believe so. Nobody said that it resolved, so I was like, yeah. So let's see if I do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made a mistake there. It would not have changed anything, however. So Dockside, ETBs, return the favor, copying target triggered ability. So I'm gonna be copying Dockside. I'm gonna be copying Dockside, copying Dockside on the stack, taking the win, maybe taking the win away from the ObNixilis player. So I'm saying I made a mistake. Defense grid is 3 more, so I should have paid 6. But I still had 2 treasures, wouldn't have changed anything. Dockside triggers, count is 12. Big warning, I need to pay attention, otherwise I will get dinged hard. Disciple of the Vault is there, so 12 treasure. Disciple of the Vault is there, so I need to kill the Disciple of the Vault first. The good thing is Magda can win with 10 treasure, or she can win with 5 treasure if she has a Artifact Dwarf or the clock already on board. So here's what's gonna be happening. I go get activate Magda. I will go get a Legion Extruder. So Legion Extruder is a somewhat new artifact. Well, it was almost a Thunder Junction. It's like 2 sets ago. Outlaws will Legion Extruder will target Disciple of the Vault. On ETB, Extruder deals 2 damage. ObNixilis player will answer with Calling the Weak is Disciple. The Disciple will be dead, but he could call the weak and get 5 blacks, which could be relevant for him. Reactivate Magda. So he's going to redo the Disciple of the Vault triggers, but there's none. Disciple is gone. So I will go and get right after is the Clock of Omens. Clock of Omen is tap 2 artifact to untap an artifact. So with that clock, I will tap Clock and Legion Extruder to try to untap the 3/3 mascot. Then I will reactivate the Clock of Omen to tap 3/3 and a treasure to try to untap 3/3 mascot, and I make an extra treasure all the time. So what I end up is with infinite tapped treasure. The good thing is that Magda doesn't care about if it's tapped or not. I can just sack it and pull whatever I need. I'll go get Roaming Throne, naming dwarves. So now every time that I tap, I do the same combo shenanigans. I make 2 treasures, so I can take 1 to tap and 1 to keep forever. Then I go get, let's say if there is no stack piece, there is nothing that worries me on the board. I'll go straight into Barkform Harvester and Sculpting Steel. So what you do is call Sculpting Steel the Legion Extruder. You deal 2 damage to someone, and then you sack the Sculpting Steel to the Legion Extruder. Put it back in your library with Barkform Harvester, and you can do that forever, pinging people for 2 all the time. If somebody has the One Ring, like we've got top left, you just Spine of Fish Saw. You can destroy all his land, all his artifact, everything he has on board, and on his upkeep, you just redo the Legion Extruder loop. So, God, that was a wonderful weekend. First, not a major tournament. It was a 16, but I still did a top 4. Barely got into top 4. Won 2, lost 2. Still won the finally. It was a wonderful weekend with a bunch of friends. If you learned anything, post in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next game.